When you fall down for a second, you could get up. That's the only way you reach to the ceiling. And the water too deep, keep your head up. And I'm writing this message. Seasons keep changing like trends. Fashion technology ought to be bent. When you drop it from the 4 stories over me again. Seem like the world is a game, I never win. The feeling is depression that I start to attend. My mind in the motive that I'm molding again. To any character, holding the heritage of aquarium. Area, don't you hear sirens up in your area? There he go, more to the balance, he think hilarious. Marry us, cause they want red and ring stop. They only want half like they harvesting crops. Half of the culture, half of the dialect, half of the neighborhood, as long as it's paying good. Half of the finances, they even want half of the modern day dances. They don't want the melanin, hope that they settle in. Fall down for a second if you get up. Pleasure is the reason that you played up. Your root looks blacker than the spell. You're searching for an exit in the mirror. Your head hurting, where you at? It's not certain. You lost purpose, your mind lurking, your time worthless, you shine nervous. but find versions of yourself who's a new person. I wonder why the seasons always affect my mood. I'm gloomy in the winter, but happy in the spring. I'm witty in the summer like it's only time to sing, but fall, it's gonna take time to explain it all. Hoodie weather, school starting, I need to do better. Improving everything, the possibility of life I knew was true from the moment I picked it. I'm rooted in trees and the leaves is the exit that calm dude, they smell in the morning. Other senses, they fell in the forest spawning. Haunted fences, you never did rise rolling. Far from the ocean, the hope and the tide picking. Telling a story that is open inside, soaking. Deep in your hope till your rope to abide. Passion, waiting to hot till the moment arrive. Beating bad to the bone till I... Every time I fall down, my soul gon' pick me back up. Every time I'm broke, my homie said get your cash up. Every time I'm passionate, make sure to note the time so you ain't passing it. Every time I stay by, my friends gon' pick the ash up. Every time I fall down, my soul gon' pick me back up. Every time I got bread, pigeons they always lash up. Every time I look behind, I find a reason that I can't run. Every time I fall down, my soul gon' pick me back up. When you fall down for a second, you can get up. That's the only way you reach to the ceiling. The water too deep, keep your head up. I wrote this message. When you fall down for a second, never get up. Concussion is the reason that you get up. The bruise look like it in the scale. You're searching for an exit. No.
Pelosi had a debate at Harvard. Wild. And she got blown away. It wasn't even close. And what she was arguing was crazy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the Rogan clip first. Okay? Then after that, I'm going to show you what she said in the debate. I'm going to show you what the response was to what she said in the debate. This person won by far. And then I'm going to show you a recap of that man talking about things that Nancy was doing and saying to him that were off camera that the rest of us couldn't see. It's very, very interesting stuff. And it really shows. And then I'm also going to show you one clip of what this OF creator, this woman, said about the Biden administration in regards to paying her to do something. Now, it's nothing crazy. It's nothing wild. Paying her to post certain things. And it kind of speaks to exactly what Nancy Pelosi was talking about. But it turns it around on her in the Democratic Party. Now, let's get into it. Don't forget about the new channel that I got, Coach Colin Media. This channel is absolutely amazing. We got all sorts of stuff going on. We got 94 videos. The latest videos that are up are all about Trump's South Bronx rally. It was wild. And MSNBC, CNN, they're all going crazy over it. Check that out right now. Link in the description. Hit that subscribe button. Other than that, let's get into this Rogan clip.
Did you see the Nancy Pelosi debate with the dude from Mumford & Sons?
No, I still haven't watched it. I did. I know you asked me if I'd seen it, and then my buddy Rob Bernstein, who co-hosts my podcast with me, Part of the Problem, he was like, dude, you got to watch it, but I just have not. I've been constantly traveling.
Yeah, dude. He handed her.
Well, I can't believe Nancy Pelosi actually did an Oxford-style debate. That just seems ridiculous. Who told her that was a good idea?
I don't know. I mean, I guess she thought Winston is just like this fucking musician. Isn't he a banjo player? What's going on here? Pelosi interrupted by anti-Israeli. Pelosi rebuked to her face during Oxford debate after condemning Americans clouded by guns, gays, God. What does that mean? Clouded by guns, gays, God. What does that mean?
What is it?
What does that mean? She's so crazy. Guns and gays and gods. Oh my God. Challenging Pelosi's position in the debate about populism. Winston Marshall, a musician who was once part of Mumford & Sons, now hosts the Marshall Matters podcast for The Spectator, spoke in opposition to the Oxford Union motion that this House believes populism is a threat to democracy. That is a crazy argument, that populism is a threat to democracy.
Well, like, I swear to God, whenever you hear people like Nancy Pelosi or Hillary Clinton or any of them use the term democracy, just in your mind, substitute what they mean by democracy is our rule over you. And like, in a sense, that's what they mean. It's like, oh yeah, populism is a threat to you guys ruling us.
Yes.
And that's kind of true.
That's exactly what she's saying.
She
just doesn't know she's saying that.
I will say this, there's a really great debate. I believe it was the Monk, it was between David Frum and, oh God, I'm blanking on his name, Trump's big advisor. Oh man, I'm blanking on his name. I'm usually pretty good with names, guys. But what is the guy who masterminded Trump's 2016 campaign? Steve Bannon. So Steve Bannon and David Frum. David Frum was a speechwriter for George W. Bush, and Steve Bannon debated populism, and the crowd was so hostile to Bannon. And he actually did a very good job in the debate. I highly recommend everyone listen to it if you're interested in this stuff, because he basically laid out how the whole Trumpist populist movement is a result of your failures. Like, who are you, George W. Bush speechwriter, to look at us and say, like, why is there this populism? Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because the elites mismanaged everything. And so then there was like a movement that rose up like, hey, these elites are screwing you over. Populism is, it's not a sign that you have a healthy society. It's a symptom of a cause. It's in the same way, I know me and you have talked about this a bunch before, but in the same ways when all these people will be like, we need to have trust in our institutions. And you're like, well, yeah, but we also need institutions that don't lie to us. And when they do lie to us, you can't turn around and say, hey, you have to trust these institutions. Like, no, the problem started with you not being trustworthy.
Yeah.
Not with us not trusting you.
I think people are starting to understand that better now. I really do.
I do too.
I think there's been a pretty significant shift towards people being very skeptical about bullshit now, where it's just, there's going to be a ton of people, and some of these people, by the way, are paid. And this is what I've talked to people recently that are they either stream, or they're YouTube personalities, or they're Instagram social media personalities, and they have a certain number of followers, and they offer them thousands of dollars to do political posts. Thousands of dollars to talk about specific political issues.
Damn it, there's no money in my politics.
But you know how
I wish
crazy
there
that is?
was.
So, like, what if you have a really big account? Like, what if you have a big account like mine? We have like 19 million followers, and someone says, hey, we would love to pay you, you know, to support blah, blah, blah. You know, that is creepy, man. That's legal. That's creepy that you can pay people for their support for a political issue, because it's this weird gray area where it's social media engagement.
And I'm sure there's also like, there's probably like a few like steps between, like, it's not like a campaign is directly paying you.
No, it's
It's
super
like
PAC.
a super PAC
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
group
yeah.
that was funded by that super
Yeah.
PAC, and then you could
Yeah.
and then you could with a straight face say, I've never taken any money from the Biden campaign.
Come
And you're like,
on now.
but you did take money from a group who's basically Biden's campaign.
Right, like what the NIH did with gain of function research. We didn't fund
It had
it.
nothing to do with it. Oh, this subsidiary. Oh yeah, this company
Eco
that we
Health
fund. Yeah,
Alliance.
well, there. Very good. Yeah.
Probably, but it had nothing to do with the pandemic.
Yeah, those guys are
And if
crazy.
you insisted it, you're racist.
Or kind of like the way that the pro-Palestine rallies are organized by Students for Justice in Palestine, and those people are paid by the Tide Center. Look it up, Tides Center, and then the Tide Center is heavily financed by the Open Society Foundation, and that's heavily financed by George Soros. Kind of like that, right? Anyway, I've done so many episodes on that, and I don't want to say that and get Jimmy Dore upset with me again. Oh man, but let's get over to what they are talking about. We should probably start off real quick, and I know a lot of you probably know, but you know, some people don't know. And then this little quick blurb on populism, what it actually is. If it sounds good to you, populism refers to a range of political stances that emphasize on the idea of the people and often juxtapose this group against the elite. The term developed in the 19th century and has been applied to various politicians, parties, and movements since that time, although it has rarely been chosen as a self-description. Let me go a little further down. Populists typically present the elite as comprising the political, economic, cultural, and media establishment, depicted as a homogeneous entity and accused of placing their interest, and often the interest of other groups, such as corporations, foreign countries, or immigrants, above the interest of the people. Well, is that not happening? Just based on the way they were just talking about populism, especially Dave Smith, the way he was like, he's like, oh, it's a symptom. It's not a good, I don't know. It's, I don't know. Seems like a little bit of checks and balances here, right? The people kind of step in and they say, hey, our interests aren't being met. What's going on here? And I mean, look at that is just so, you know, like, did I plan that? I didn't plan that. You know, it just had it there. Such as large corporations, yup. Foreign countries, yup. Immigrants, yup. Above the interest of the people. Yeah. I would say that's quite, you know, like to suggest that that's a symptom, or that's why things are, you know, that's why Trump's movement popped off so well. It's just, shouldn't every politician be a populist? Doesn't that make sense? Don't you not want to be a part of this elite? Well, obviously every politician wants to be part of the elite. Don't you not want to be a part of that? You want to be a populist, and you want to do things that are in the interest of the people, and that's just how it goes. And you're constantly checking in with them to see what their interests are, and then you're supposed to make that happen. Pass laws based on their interests. Isn't that what's supposed to happen? Like, in my opinion, I don't know anybody else's opinion, Trump is a populist president. He's a populist politician. That's why he's willing to go at the left. And if someone on the right steps out of line as well, he'll go at them too. And then all of a sudden, when he's in front of a crowd, he's as nice as can be. Not just because he wants those votes, although that's part of it, of course. He's still playing the game. Everybody has to play the game. He wants those votes, of course. But also, He wants to do what's right in the interest of the people. I don't know. Kind of makes sense. People do well, economy does well, the whole country does well. If only these interests that are listed here do well, the people start to suffer, the people get displaced, the people become second-class citizens, and then the people decide to lash out. It's usually, that's just me, with my limited knowledge on that whole thing. But just wanted to read that to you, just so you guys know what that is. Let's move on to what Nancy Pelosi had to say about this whole thing. Let's listen to it. Populism. Populism's a threat to democracy, and it's just, we should be ruling, and I know I like to trade stocks, and I'm really good at it. I'm worth $4 billion. I'm kidding, she's not worth $4 billion. Not yet. Wait until the next bull run, though. Let's get into it.
The fact is that using whether it's people different from me, nationalism, populism, is a very dangerous threat to democracy, not just in America where we're seeing it play out, but in the whole world. In the context of a fight between democracy and autocracy, not mine, but the version of populism, ethno-nationalist populism, which tries to bring down education and fake news, the media, which is a protector of democracy, that version is contributing in countries other than our country and is a danger to democracy. We think democracy is on the ballot in America. It's a victory that we must win because it will only make matters worse if they have another stay at what they're doing to the courts in our country, the fear that they're instilling in jurists in our country, the suppression of the vote in our country, the role of their big, dark, rich, billionaire donors who don't want to pay taxes, suffocating the airways from the fossil fuel industry and the gun industry and the rest of that. So money and populism, sadly, have gone together with this ethno-nationalist what they call elite, which we call education, free press, and the rest. So I urge you to think in terms of the word. It says it's a threat. You're going to deny that it's a threat to democracy in the versions that have emerged in America so clearly? And why does everybody here say to me, what happens if he gets elected? Well, you can't let that happen because for us, this election is Washington crossing the Delaware.
Washington crossing the Delaware. So she talks about a whole bunch of that now. Now she also goes on, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be in some of this as well. Yeah, I got a little bit of it here. You're going to hear a little bit more of what she has to say, but I want to play this gentleman's response because he just goes off. Now, I just want to say right now, this guy right here, this guy is this guy's hype man. This guy right here, he's sitting there like, break her off something proper, sir. Give her a rabble-rousing, won't you? Oh my gosh, this guy, watch this guy's face. But listen to the response. Let's get into it.
Before COVID, intelligence services colluded with big tech to have Trump suspended off Twitter. Yes, the same platform which hosted the Taliban and Ayatollah deaf to Israel Khomeini, they thought the president crossed the line when he tweeted on Jan 6th, quote, "Remain peaceful, no violence, respect the law and our great men and women in blue." That's a quote. You may be thinking now that Trump is a populist. You are right. He didn't accept the 2020 elections, and he should have. So should Hillary in 2016, so should Brussels, and so should Westminster in 2016, and so too should Congresswoman Pelosi, instead of saying the 2016 election was, quote, hijacked. Quote, hijacked.
I just have to interrupt real quick because there's caption that you guys couldn't see. She actually says out loud, "It was." And that's why they all start applauding and laughing at her. Oh my gosh, crazy. And now she has some more.
What about the mainstream media? Let me read you some mainstream media headlines. The New Yorker, the day before the 2016 election. The case against democracy. The Washington Post, the day after the election. The problem with our government is democracy. The LA Times, June 2017. The British election is a reminder of the perils of too much democracy. Vox, June 2017. The two eminent political scientists say the problem with democracy is voters. New York Times, June 2017. The problem with participatory democracy is the participants. Mainstream media elites are part of a class who don't just disdain populism, they disdain the people. If the Democrats had put half their energy into delivering for the people, Trump wouldn't even have a chance in 2024. He shouldn't have a chance. You've had power for 4 years. From the fabricated Steele dossier to trying to take him off the ballot in both Maine and Colorado, the Democrats are the anti-Democrat party. All we need now is the Republicans to come out as the pro-monarchist party. Ladies and gentlemen, populism is not a threat to democracy, but I'll tell you what is. It's elites ordering social media to censor political opponents. It's police shutting down dissenters, be it anti-monarchists in this country or gender-critical voices here, or last week in Brussels, the National Conservative movement. I'll tell you what is a threat to democracy. It's Brussels, DC, Westminster, the mainstream media, big tech, big pharma, corporate collusion, and the Davos cronies. The threat to democracy comes from those who write off ordinary people as deplorable. The threat to democracy comes from those who smear working people as racists. The threat to democracy comes from those who write off working people as populists. And I'll say one last thing. This populist age can be brought to an end at the snap of a finger. All that needs to be done is for elites to start listening to, respecting, and, God forbid, working for ordinary people. Thank you.
Gangster, man. What a gangster that guy is. He handled business. Unbelievable. Hijacked. Quote, hijacked. She's like, it was hijacked. It was hijacked. It was ridiculous. No one should ever listen to Donald Trump. Oh my gosh. And then when you listen to her full response, she starts making it about Trump more than anything. It's not even about populism or anything like that. It's very, very odd. And again, this gentleman right here, he was having the best time in the world. He was having such a good time. He was like, yes. Oh, points made, my lad. Yes. It was amazing. But it doesn't stop there. This gentleman was actually on Piers Morgan soon after, and nobody's really talking about that part where he actually starts talking about Nancy Pelosi. I'm actually going to bring this to the beginning, not quite the beginning, because they mess around a little bit at the starting of this whole thing, but they play a little bit of Nancy Pelosi's part here. So let's play this, and you can actually hear him talk about not just his thoughts on the whole thing, but certain things that she was saying. He just starts breaking it down even more so. And just to say right off the bat, everything he said, so correct, man. And to call out Nancy Pelosi while she's there, and you can't see it on camera, but she is saying something to him as he's doing it. And I just want to get to that point. Oh, we caught Piers Morgan in the... Okay, let's get into this.
On the subject of populism, and millions have now seen what happened next.
What do the Republicans say? Fake news. So they're diminishing that in the eyes of these poor souls who are looking for some answers. We've given them to them, but they're blocked by some of their views on guns. They have the 3 Gs, guns, gays, God. A snake oil salesman sells them a bill of goods and then takes office, and the only legislation put forth is a bill that gives a tax bill that gives 83% of the benefits to the top 1%.
Populism has become a word used synonymously with racist. We've heard ethno-nationalist, with bigot, with hillbilly, redneck, with deplorables. And I'm sure Congresswoman Pelosi will agree that the entire month of June 2020, when the federal courthouse in Portland, Oregon was under siege and under insurrection by radical progressives, those too were dark days for America. Yes?
There is no equivalence there.
You may be thinking now that Trump is a populist. You are right. He didn't accept the 2020 elections, and he should have. So should Hillary in 2016, so should Brussels, and so should Westminster in 2016, and so too should Congresswoman Pelosi, instead of saying the 2016 election was, quote, hijacked.